Hello, everybody. Nice to see you all. And thank you for coming on this rainy, well, was a rainy day. And hello to everyone online. Thank you for joining us. So, as I said, my name is Jenny Terbell. I am a teacher in the lineage of my teacher, who is Lama Tsultrim Allione, and I'll be guiding you today in a 5-step process called Feeding Your Demons, which is a process that she developed based on an old and ancient Tibetan Buddhist practice called Chöd, which was developed by an 11th century woman in Tibet named Machik Labdron. So this 5-step process that I'm going to be guiding us through is almost like a Western version or a Western answer to this ancient Chöd practice. And the essence of this practice, and for some of us we've done this before, but for some of us it's the first time. But the gestalt or the main heart of it is that we're feeding and not fighting, turning towards and nurturing that which troubles us or worries us, and nurturing it, feeding it, tending to that part of us. So I personally, this is one of the first practices I learned, and it's been a really solid part of my spiritual work for the last 15 years. There's a kind of a joke around Tara Mandala where, feeding a demon a day keeps the doctor away. So let's begin by raising bodhicitta, and then I'll talk a little bit about the practice, but mainly as I was in the drive over here, feeling like I want us to get into it. So to do the practice, it's pretty, you'll be guided for those for whom it's the first time. And then at the very end of our time together, we'll have time to actually talk about it and ask questions, and share. Okay. All right. Well, we'll connect to the heartfelt motivation of being here. So it feels good. You can close your eyes. If it's part of your practice, you can bring your hands to your heart, or whichever mudra feels appropriate. And even in this space, allowing our bodies time to arrive, and knowing that the transition takes time and can take time. So we're cultivating the heart of enlightenment, the bodhicitta, the awakened mind. And it is an energetic place at the center of our chest, the heart center. And see if we can feel that place inside of our own bodies. Kind of openness, a spaciousness, a readiness. And we simply together generate our heartfelt intention that our time together be of benefit. Not only for our own unfolding, our own awakening, but also for the awakening and the awakening of all beings everywhere. So allowing our minds, our hearts to tie or link up to the larger mandala around us. Thank you. Thank you for your bodhicitta. So for how many of us is this your first time doing feeding your demons? Have we practiced 2, 3? Okay, excellent. And others, we've done this before, yeah, probably on these Wednesdays. Okay, good. So I think it's nice to begin first by just sharing a little bit about what a demon is from this perspective. And as I was talking about that Tibetan woman, Machi Glabdron, she says a demon is anything that keeps us from freedom, that obstructs us. So in our daily life, our demons would be our anxiety, our worry, our addictions, pain, anything, our anger, anything that seems to be blocking our energy in some way. So I'd like us, before we start, just to maybe even turn to the person next to you and share even just a few words of what's been kind of weighing you down, or what you feel what demons you've been carrying, or that have been with you in the last week or even today. So you can just turn right to your person. And for those online, if you'd like, you can type it into your chat as well. Okay, let's come back together. So, Karen, I don't know if you want, maybe we could share a little bit from the chat, or also from our room, or there. can we hear a little bit about the demons, the demons that are in the room right now, or
I
what
can
we're?
share the chat. I can share the
Yes,
chat with
okay.
our online sangha friends. And we have,
Thank you.
let's see, we have iPhone 12, current demon, question mark, reading political news. And we have Jordan, he writes it, grief. And we have Lauren, she's bracing muscles and holding patterns, fear of not being safe.
Yes. Uh-huh. Thank you. Yeah,
Might
those are
need
good. And
uneasiness and uncertainty and
say that
anxiety.
again.
My
Uncertainty and
demons are uncertainty, anxiety, and uneasiness.
thank you. Yes. I did one today and it was anxiety. Like again, after 15 years? Yes. Good. And anyone else in the room want to share some of what
One
we're
more online wrote anger and pain.
anger and pain? Okay. Yes. And the one about the political, the demon of reading the political news. Sure, we're not familiar with that one at all. But the if we were to work with that one, the demon, and this is hard pill to swallow, isn't the political news in this context. It's the feeling that gets awoken in us when we read the news. That makes sense? Some of us go into despair. Some of us go into rage. Some of us go, are many different responses. So that would be what you would work with, because that's the thing that's happening inside the body. And usually that experience, in my case, when I read disturbing things, it doesn't necessarily help me take the next step, whatever that step may be. It puts me in my fear and my despair, grief, all that. So we work with it. So we would work with that demon and feed that demon, not because we're trying to like make it go away or anything, but we're trying to see what is that energy pattern that's in my body that's actually not helpful right now to my awakening and the awakening of the planet, and what might be in that energy that could be liberatory or that could be more free. So I think that's an important distinction also for some of us. If maybe the politics or what's going on right now is so big, maybe some of us are moving through some heaviness in our relationship or our marriage or with our friends or something like this. So when we're working with a demon in relationship, we work with the feeling, like your partner isn't the demon, right? It's how, like the way you may feel unseen. So you work with that. I'm using my own life, but you would have your own. Okay. Good. So, yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it's nice to get the juices flowing by naming what some of the demons could be, like illness, chronic pain, worry, anger, anxiety, we said, depression. Sometimes it can be unnamed. Like a few days ago, I was feeling so off, and I didn't know. I was kept trying to find like why, what was the thing, what was the reason that's making me feel all, I don't know, that feeling inside. And like I was in the bath relaxing, and I just thought, oh well, maybe I don't even know what the feeling is, but I worked with just that thing, and I didn't have a name for it yet. That makes sense. So and I want us to start to do the process. So what I think is most important to know at this point is to work with something that is most up for you right now. And it doesn't have to be like your biggest trauma, necessarily your biggest demon. I mean, you can work with it, but it can be something smaller too, whichever is just alive for you now. And I'll be guiding us through the 5 steps, as most of us know. And we're going to be changing places for those of us who are new. So we'll want to put a chair in front of us, and we will be at the beginning feeling our body and locating where the demon lives, and then we outpicture the demon in front of us. And then there are questions that we ask of the demon. What do you want? What do you really need? And how will you feel if you get what you really need? So if you're working with the demon of anger, the demon of anger may say, I want to just keep pounding my fists and be rageful, But then when you ask the demon, but what is it that you really need? The demon may say, I need to be hugged. I need arms around me and just holding me tight. That's what my demon said. And then you ask it, how will you feel if you get what you really need? That loving hug or whatever. And the demon would say, at ease. So then at that point in the process, you'll be guided. You dissolve your body into a nectar that has that ease in it, that feeling of ease. And that's what you feed the demon. And from there, that demon, and you'll be guided through this process, transforms into an ally. And sometimes that transformation happens for some of us like this. For some of us, we're like, oh, wait, it's not happening. And then you'll be guided in that too. We'll invite the ally to come. And then at that point, there will be a dialogue with that figure, your wisdom figure or your ally figure, and we'll guide you through that. And then there's an integration moment at the end. So I wanted to say, why is this in a Dharma center, or why is this part of, let's say, a Buddhist practice? There are a few different reasons, but the most foundational of which is that we begin with the raising of bodhicitta. And the 5th step is the dissolution, where we dissolve our body. It's very Tibetan. Those of us who may know Tibetan practices, we dissolve our body with the energy of the integrated ally, and we dissolve and we rest in whatever is present, in the emptiness that's here. So those are the beginning and the ending are really anchoring this and locating it within a Buddhist tradition. Okay, let's begin. Do you have any questions before we start?
I have a question.
Yeah.
It just sounds very similar to inner child work.
Yes.
So I was just curious. I mean, that's very Western, but
Yes.
what to talk about.
Yes. I think it is a big part of it. Often the essence of our demons are those parts of ourselves that haven't been tended to, and so I think there are a lot of similarities. My teacher Lama Tsultrim, when she developed this, as I said, it was based off a Chöd, an ancient practice, Tibetan practice, but also has some Gestalt influences, Jungian influences as well. Yeah. Did you have a question? No. Okay. All right. Ready? Okay, good. Now I think how we do it, we set up, we have enough chairs. You set up and see if you can put a chair in front of you, so you're facing an empty chair. And for those of us online, I'm not sure if you heard, but if you can, set yourself up with a chair, an empty chair in front of you so that you can switch places.
We can hear you fine. We can hear you fine.
Okay, good.
I'm so sorry.
turn your chair back and forth. Does everybody have a chair?
I think everyone's got one. There's a good.
Okay.
There's actually extra ones here.
Good. So the empty chair, you know, we'll be switching places in that seat. And in this, you know, in this process with your imagination, with your, you know, whatever comes up from the depths of your psyche, sometimes it's just said, first thought, best thought, you know, you just go with it. Like, they can be weird, the demons, or they can not want to appear, and you're like, I've done this forever, why aren't you coming? And then you might, then, you know, we can cue, I'll help us in that, you know. If a demon were to appear, what would it look like? Things like this. So, and again, we'll be keeping our eyes closed through the process. And you know, one last thing, if we're working with a demon of abuse, particularly sexual abuse, and you know that, or another demon that you know it causes you to really disassociate, then there'll be a certain part in the process where you do not need to dissolve your body. You can keep your body and generate the nectar from your heart. Okay, good. Okay, we're all set up here. So let's take a moment of silence so we can land again or see what we want to work with. It's good letting our eyes close and taking a moment to come into presence. Close your eyes and keep them closed as much as possible until the end of the process. And we'll begin by taking 9 deep relaxation breaths. First, breathe into any physical tension that you're holding in your body, then hooking that tension with the breath, release it on the out breath. Now breathe into any emotional tension that you're holding, emotional tension. Notice where you're holding emotional tension in your body, then hooking that tension with the breath and releasing it with the out breath. Now breathe into any mental tension you're holding. Notice where you're holding your mental tension, then hooking the tension with your breath. Release it with the out breath. Generating a heartfelt motivation to practice for the benefit of yourself and all beings. We'll begin the process. Thinking about the demon you've chosen to work with. Perhaps remembering a particular time or incident when it came up strongly. Then mentally scanning your body and locate where in your body you're holding this demon most strongly. Locate where you're holding the demon most strongly. Notice where this demon is held in your body. Now imagine it has a shape. What shape is it? What shape? If it had a color, what color? What color is it? What color might it be? What is its texture? What is its texture in your body? Whatever you sense. And what's its temperature? Now we're going to intensify your awareness of this energy in your body and bring your full attention to it. Intensifying this energy and bringing our attention to it. Now allow this shape with its color, consistency, and temperature to move out of your body and become personified in front of you. Personified in front of you as a being with eyes, face, limbs, and so on. If an inanimate being appears, invite it to become a being with arms and legs and so on. What size is it? What's its size? What's its color? What's the surface of its skin like? Or the surface of its body? What's its density? If it had a smell, what smell would be associated with it? If it made sounds, what kind of sounds? Does it have a gender? And what's the look in its eyes? What's the look in its eyes? What is its emotional state? What's its emotional state? What is its character or personality like? What is this demon's character or personality like? Now notice something about the demon you didn't see before. Something you didn't see before. Now ask the demon these following questions, repeating them silently, one by one after me. Repeating them silently, one by one. What do you want? What do you really need? What do you really need? How will you feel when you get what you really need? How will you feel when you get what you really need? Now switch places, keeping your eyes closed as much as you can, and face your current seat. Good. Having switched seats, take a moment to settle into the demon's body. Taking a moment to really settle into the demon's body. Feel free to adopt the posture or make a gesture the demon might make if it's helpful. Otherwise, we sit and face your normal self. How does it feel to be in your demon's body? How does it feel to be in your demon's body? How does your normal self look from the demon's point of view? How does your normal self look from the demon's point of view? Now we'll answer the question silently, imagining you're speaking as the demon. What I want is. What I want is. What I really need is. What I really need is. When I get what I really need, I will feel. When I get what I really need, I will feel. Take note of this final answer. Now, keeping the eyes closed, return to your original seat. Taking a moment to settle back into your body. Settling back into your body. See the demon in front of you. See the demon in front of you. Now, remembering what the demon said it would feel if it got what it really needs. Evoke that feeling. Evoke that feeling and allow this feeling to spread through your entire body. Allowing the feeling to spread through your entire body. Now dissolve your body into a nectar that has the quality of this feeling. Dissolving your body into a nectar that has the quality of this feeling. Noticing the color of the nectar. The color. Then feed the demon this nectar. Feed the demon this nectar and notice how the demon takes it in. Noticing how the demon takes it in. An infinite supply of nectar flows to the demon and nurtures it to complete satisfaction. Infinite supply of nectar flows towards the demon and nurtures it to complete satisfaction. And notice if the demon changes as it takes in the nectar. Noticing the demon, if the demon changes. Feed the demon until it's completely satisfied, remembering there's an infinite supply of nectar. If the demon is still feeding, imagine what it would look like if it was completely satisfied. If it's still feeding, imagine what it might look like if it's completely satisfied. And once the being is completely satisfied, notice if a being remains. Notice if a being remains. If there is a being that remains, ask it if it's your ally. Is it your ally? If it says yes, then you'll work with that. If it says no, or you're unsure, or if the demon dissolved during the feeding, then invite an ally to appear. Invite an ally then. See the ally in front of you. If an inanimate being appeared, imagine what it would look like if it were personified. The ally in front of you, what size is it? What size is it? What's its color? What is the surface of its body like? What is its density? If it had a smell, what smell would it be? If it made sounds, what sounds would it make? Does this ally have a gender? What is the look in your ally's eyes? What is the look in its eyes? What is its emotional state? Its emotional state. What is its character or personality like? And then notice something about the ally you didn't see before. Something you didn't see before. Now ask the ally these questions. Repeat the questions silently, one by one after me. How will you help me? How will you help me? How will you protect me? How will you protect me? What pledge do you make to me? What pledge do you make to me? How can I access you? How can I access you? Now switch places again. Keeping your eyes closed as best you can. Now taking a moment to settle into your ally's body. Settling into the body of your ally. And if we can feel free, of course, to adopt the posture or gesture of the ally if it's helpful. Settling into the ally's body. How does it feel? How does it feel to be in the ally's body? How does your normal self look from the ally's point of view? How does your normal self look from the ally's point of view? Now answer the question silently, speaking as the ally, speaking as the ally. I will help you by. I will help you by. I will protect you by. I will protect you by. I pledge I will. I pledge I will. You can access me by. You can access me by. And now we can return to the original seat. Taking a moment to settle back into your own body. Taking a moment to settle back into your own body. And see the ally in front of you. See the ally in front of you. If a satisfied demon remained at the end of the feeding, you may invite it back now. Now imagine that it dissolves into light, and let that light integrate in your body. That's for those who had a satisfied demon who remained. Now for everyone else, look into the ally's eyes. Look into the ally's eyes and feel its energy pouring into your body. Feel its energy pouring into your body. As you feel the energy of the ally coming into your body, it spreads all the way down to the soles of your feet, to your fingertips, and throughout your whole body. Notice how this feels. As if all your cells are being washed by this energy of the ally. Your whole body, fingertips, soles of your feet. Now imagine that the ally dissolves into light. Imagining that the ally dissolves into light. Notice the color of this light. Notice the color of this light. Feel this light dissolving into you. Feel the light dissolving into you. Integrate this luminosity into every cell of your body. Every cell. Again, as though all your cells were being bathed with this light. Take note of the feeling of the integrated energy of the ally in your body. Take note of the feeling of the integrated energy of the ally in your body. Now you, with the integrated energy of the ally, dissolve. Now you, with the integrated energy of the ally, dissolve and rest. Rest in whatever is present after the dissolution. Just rest. Now gradually come back to your body. Gradually coming back to your body and recalling the feeling of the energy of the ally in your body. Recalling the feeling of the energy of the ally in your body. And now as you open your eyes and begin to look around, maintaining that feeling of the energy of the ally in your body. You're giving yourself time to transition back to your normal self. That's for those of us who are new to the practice, those are the 5 steps that we went through. So I'm wondering, do we have any questions? Or actually, maybe before we come back together as a group, maybe pair up with the person next to you and just share a little bit about your experience, then we'll come back together. And for those online, if you're comfortable, you could type it into the chat. And of course, share, only what you feel comfortable sharing. Okay.
Is that the switching gold or is that the lending gold?
This guy?
When you dong it, is that the switch or end?
Oh, good. I was thinking end. Have you switched yet?
No, was there was no picture?
Yeah, didn't cue the switch. It can take a few more minutes. Switch if you haven't switched. I saw online that some of you have written into the chat, so we'll be sure to address that too. Thank you all for being here online as well and for your practice. How about another minute or so? Okay, let's come back together. Wonderful. So do we have, we can start with if anyone has any questions about the process, or if there are members of the sangha that want to share part of their experience,
I have the microphone.
or their, what their demon was like, what their allies said to them, any part that may want to be shared, live in the room in some way, or questions, either here or online, let me know.
I'll go. Well, thank you for that. It has been a while since I've done a Feeding Your Demons, so it was really nice. And there was a question, I think it was towards the end, I got, I don't know, I think when I was integrating the ally, I think I did it like a step too soon or something before or like when it was like looking at you with the power, I think I just like dissolved it into me, and then it was like dissolved into light, and so I
Nice. It just
fumbled
happened.
that one. But it was good. It was good, I think, in myself.
Okay.
But yeah, it was really nice. Thank you. And I also noticed I've been doing a lot of other deity yoga practices,
Yes.
and so it was really similar with the bursting of light. Like if I've been doing chin raising, so
Yes.
when they kind of burst into light at the end and dissolve into all the cells of your body. And,
Yes.
and so that was really felt different and familiar in a different way.
Yes.
So that was really nice.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you, Karen.
I saw you raise your hand.
Bless you. Bless you.
Just a wonderful experience. I've done this 3 times, and each time it's been very, very unique and very different.
Yes.
And this time, I had an experience where, as I was dissolving, it's usually I have my eyes closed and it's a sensation. This time I perceived a bright light, and it startled me. It was like a very bright light, and I was like, "Oh wow, this is different. This is new."
When you were dissolving the ally into you and then dissolving your body, you perceived the light?
Or dissolving the demon.
The demon.
Or feeding the yeah.
Feeling the demon.
But it's interesting because, it's when I have my eyes closed, it's a uniform field of dark view, I guess,
Yes.
And I had this just like very, very significant, like bright source.
Yeah.
And like I thought someone turned on the light or something. I was like, whoa. So that was pretty cool. And
Super cool. What do you make of it, or do you have a feeling of it?
The demon that I was working with, I kind of went in it just seeing what would happen. And it was a demon of pain. And so it's when you were guiding us through the visualization, and I saw that light, I just kind of like eased into it. Like it just felt good.
Yeah.
And like I literally felt pain just kind of like dissolve. So I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I felt. So
That's
it was really nice. Yeah.
Maybe that is important in that case, that the psyche or whatever the powers are, that it gave you the light from the outside.
Yeah,
Yeah. So you said it's like this feeling of then you could go out into it or something you just described?
Well, yeah, the light was not from like in front of me, like
Right. Yeah.
it was out here,
Yeah.
so it was,
Beautiful.
but
Thank
it
you.
was, either way, it was still great.
Thank you for sharing that.
No problem. Do you want to add something?
Anyone else? I think I saw a hand. Oh, Brian? Okay.
Hi, I'm Brian.
Hi, Brian.
I've done it, this is my 3rd time. And I think I was telling someone earlier that the previous 2 times, I think I was there's a lot of resistance.
Yeah.
But this time I felt, so the experience is very, very visceral for me, and there's a lot of I felt a lot of energy and warmth, and like it's almost like there's no distinction between the ally and myself. So but when I'm back and forth, it's just like this, like a glob of energy. It's very visceral, and I think that there's less resistance.
Yeah.
And I think I felt more embodied.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for sharing what you shared about not feeling the distance between you and your ally. Thank you. The ally is us, too.
Oh, sure. I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you have any suggestions on how to integrate what we saw or learned from this experience outside or
Yeah.
after this?
Yes, it's a really good, important question. The ally is really key to that, and there are other practices that we can do where you journey specifically with the ally. But some, I think for me, when I use the practice, sometimes, when the ally says how you can call on him or her or it, like my ally, I do it when I guide you, because that's what my Lama does, so that's what I do. And today, the ally was like a wolf, a she-wolf, like, how when they stand, like her chest was out, she was just like this piercing eyes. And she said that I could call on her, and I would just have to go like this, tap my right side, and she'd come. So that's in my mind. So when I'm feeling, I was working with the demon of insecurity. So when I'm out in the world and that demon comes up, then I'll remember, oh, okay, the wolf, tap my side and then bring her to me. So, I'm wondering, like, if your ally gave you any clues or any suggestions of how you could incorporate them into your life. Sometimes we make art, we draw them. I was a Lama on a retreat, and someone asked her, can I tattoo the ally on my body? She's like, sure. So, there's always that option.
Won't forget.
Yeah. So I think, becoming conscious of it and then practicing, like sometimes we can get really stuck on our ally, like, oh man, that was a good one, so then we always just want that ally to return every time. So there's a dance between, and sometimes I have allies' voices that still stay with me. Like one ally was like, wanted me to remember her by turning my face to the sun. So sometimes, I'm out and I just do that, and I remember, I remember the feeling. Maybe I don't remember exactly what she looks like, but I remember, I don't know, whatever. There's warmth holding me, or whatever that feeling was. Is that helpful for you? What did your ally say? How, do you remember that part?
Yeah,
How we protect?
mine, it became very visually explicit. It was in a place, it was like the end of a path at the top of a mountain.
Uh-huh. And the ally wanted you to go there?
Yes.
Well, that's beautiful. So I would, if I were you, I would make that part of my practice. So in the morning, at whatever your practice is, put your mind, body again in that pathway at the top of the mountain with that openness, and see what appears to you. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I had that experience of where the last couple of times I've done this, I've always had the same ally.
Yes.
And I was kind of counting on her to show up again. It was like completely different. And it was very disorienting because my demon was very much involved with a lot of kind of like thinking I'm doing about like shadow work. So it's really, really hard to look at, and really like, had all of those qualities of repulsiveness that sort of goes with, when you're sort of constructing a shadow, all of those parts of yourself that you don't want to have anything to do with.
Yes.
And it was really intense, and it almost, and it came with a story, which was like the first time I've had this story was almost like that it was a twin who had miscarried before I was born, and it was almost like that this, and I have no information about whether that's true or not, or there's no possible way I could find out whether it was true or not, but it felt like that was the story that the demon came with. And so it was kind of really like, I was very disoriented around trying to relate, both trying to sort of stay present for her, because it's definitely a her, and also trying to sort of not get thrown off by, just the kind of, like I say, the sort of qualities that were so difficult
Yes.
to kind of be with.
Yes. think it's like that sometimes. Sometimes the demons are so, our demons are so hard to look at, and we don't, like we don't want to have anything to do with them,
Yeah.
But if it's something you've worked with for the first time, like I've worked with a certain demon every day for a month, and it does shift. The psyche starts metabolizing that energy, moving from unconscious to conscious work, so. But I'm not saying it's like going to be pain-free, I guess.
Well, she turned into a really joyful ally. And
Really?
it was sort of like,
Yeah,
in
amazing.
the previous ones, it was always, the demons weren't the ally, you had to
Yes.
bring in this other person, but then this one morphed into this
Yes.
very chubby, joyful,
Ah.
kind of, still sort of infant-like, but not quite, I don't know, so it was very,
The energy of that ally was less blocked, more kind of moving joy.
Yeah.
That's good. It's the same, we know it's the same, the energy of the demon is the energy of the ally, but transformed.
May I read the online people?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I asked if folks wanted their names mentioned and people didn't get back, so I'm just gonna read what we have. Well, first person wrote, fear which was attempting to keep me safe, but it didn't have language besides limbic system freak out, which integrating is part of the shared experience. And then
Thank
another
you.
another person wrote, I had an insight into the childhood event that created the process of when I'm super challenged. I feel weak and helpless and terrified. I was able to process this and find the ally and how to comfort myself and work with this in the future, because that has come up a lot. And Lauren said I could use her name. Lauren wrote that she experienced lots of quivers and shivers and felt like energy was moving, a sense of clarity, simplicity, tenderness, and ease. And someone else wrote, hi, I had a really heavy pain, congestion, stagnation in my gut when I started the practice, and a feeling of disgust around that, fatigue, annoyance at my sloth-like feeling. My demon was black, shiny onyx, heavy, leaded, huge, stuck. As I imagined what the demon needed, it was lightness, joy, play, rest, flow, ... As I became cooling, flowing, silver, shimmering nectar, my demon became ... wait for it, ... tiny diamond from the Trolls movie, ha ha ha, a little shiny disco ball guy with light energy, high vibes, smiles, ready to dance. My reflection is that I need to turn my music on and dance to relieve some of this stuck heavy energy and to invite joy and laughter and lightness. I'm going to do that tomorrow for sure. Yay. And there were little icons. I can't tell you. And then
There's a lot of joy in the room from that share.
good. And then someone wrote, the demon is pain, also a limited consciousness in my desire for love and partner. The demon looked like an old troll, was wanting separation, needing white light, warmth, and will feel liberated when getting it. This reminded me of a ritual I did to release fear out of my body about 10 days ago. And I had warmth, energy come over me and love. What surprised me was that it was wanting separation. I have been resisting it this whole time and didn't want to be here either. The demon turned into an eagle, which was my ally. When it merged with me, I felt powerful and felt more of my truth. It said it will help me by flying, getting me where I need to go, leaping to my destination safely. I can access it by going into my heart and pledges. It will show me my next step. And I have a
Wonderful.
last one. My demon was a basketball-sized octopus, blue, green, texture like brain, lead, and heavy. It exists on my shoulders and weighs me down, wants to keep me on the couch, wants me to sleep. I noticed it was hollow inside. When the nectar flowed, it went inside the demon as it turned over and became a flower with 8 large petals replacing the octopus arms, with a lotus in the middle. It glowed with a fertile, vibrant white light. What was heavy and a burden became light, fertile, and vital blooming flower.
Emaho. Thank you. Beautiful. Yes. A couple, yeah. The last share and then we'll close.
I'll just do a bit of this. So the first visualization of, so my demon, I was thinking about the demon before I came, and I was thinking about my kid's sadness. So then I was thinking, well, that's not my demon, that's my grief over the sadness is my demon. And so then when I was visualizing the demon in the chair across from me, it was a pile of gray feathers. When I had to put it into a figure, it was the gray feathers covered in kind of a big crow. And so underneath the gray feathers were black feathers. The crow was had a kind of a bloody beak, could peck me and cause pain. And inside the crow, essence was a ball of ice. And I realized that I had my grief all attached to my kid's anger. And so I realized I needed to take the grief back and have it just be my grief and have the crow like leave, because it wasn't mine, it was the anger. And so then that was a real learning process for me, to try to remember to separate myself out from the other person so that I could be, work with what the grief could mean and turn into something more helpful to me that I would keep, but it would not be as intertwined. So the way the feathers always remain feathers, but they changed a bit. And then I gave it a nest, and I knew I wouldn't lose that grief, I would keep the grief, but the part that really affected me the most emotionally was when the grief was my ally and was saying, stop wishing for it to be different, just accept. So it went through a big trajectory of learning and trying to, have my own demon.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing that step by step too. Well, thank you all for your practice and for doing this particular practice, this particular kind of work. If I were to assign homework, I would say tonight, before you go to bed, while you lie there, to recall again the ally, the feeling of the ally, and bring them back alive for you, and to really consciously recall what that feeling of the ally felt like in your body. Because likely, if your demons are anything like mine, those imprints, those karmic imprints, are pretty deep in that subtle body, I would imagine. So because we feed them once doesn't mean they're gone. I mean, sometimes I guess I've heard that awakening realization can happen like that. But because of the karmic nature and the way our body holds imprints, we want to keep giving it the right imprint. So tonight, before you go to bed, you're lying there as a meditation, connect to your bodhicitta, and then awaken that feeling in you again, that felt liberatory, or that had the feeling of freedom. It's enough just to do that. And then when you wake up in the morning, first thing, do it again. Like first thing, before all the imprints come back. Try it again and see, And then, of course, this practice is available. You can look online, and you all know this, and you can do it again. Keep working with it if you feel called, or if you feel particularly stuck on something, Okay. Yeah, so I guess closing with the thought of that the power of keeping your ally close. Okay? So another way is keeping that enlightened wisdom part of you close. Okay, let's dedicate the merit. Gathering back together in this way, with the hands at the heart, the primordial gesture of connecting to our most sacred center of being. And feeling the kind of bravery and courage and time that it takes to meet our demons, to face our shadows, and to feed them compassionately, to nurture these different parts of us. May that gesture and may that wish, may it also go out to all beings everywhere. And may the wisdom of our time and the good energy of our time, may it radiate out beyond this sangha and travel everywhere. Thank you.